Hey guys, it's been a while. Wanted to share with you today something that I've been really kind of processing. So Sunday in Sunday school class, we were talking about in John chapter 3 where Jesus meets with Nicodemus, and he's explaining to Nicodemus how a man has to be born of spirit and water to be able to enter the kingdom. And Nicodemus is confused, so Jesus tells him it's like when Moses raised the serpent up on the pole and people looked at it and they were saved. He said, so it will be with the Son of Man. Now that comparison has always kind of bugged me, I'll be honest. I don't like the comparison of Jesus and a serpent. They just, it's oil and water, they don't mix. It's light and darkness, they don't mix. So it caused me to do a little research and a little deep dive, and that's what I want to talk about today. It's just kind of the contrast between Jesus on the cross and the serpent on the pole. Now, the obvious to me right off the bat was the fact that the serpent represents man. It represents the physical and the sin, whereas Jesus represents the spiritual. And he is the representation of the Trinity, God the Son. So there's that. But then it gets a little deeper as you start looking into it. With the example of the serpent on the pole, if you'd been bitten by a serpent, then you could look up at this bronze snake and get healing. Well, in our life, spiritually, we've all been bitten by the snake. Eve gave into the temptation and the deception. She and Adam ate the fruit and plunged us into spiritual death from that point on. Every man is born with sin. So we also need to look to Christ. But looking to Christ, if you look at Numbers 21 is where that story is from. All they had to do, if you'd been bit by the snake, all you had to do was turn and look at the serpent and you were healed. Which means it was a physical healing. Jesus heals us spiritually. It was a healing that required you to turn and physically look. It didn't require any heart condition. You didn't have to believe or put your faith in the serpent. Jesus, on the other hand, you do have to have a heart condition, a heart change. You do have to have faith and believe. And it is not based on any of your works, turning and looking. Whether you turn and look or not had nothing to do with your works. There's just this great contrast, even though it is both symbolically, if you look at them, you're healed. But it's such a cool thing that Jesus is talking to Nicodemus, the scholar of the Old Testament, and he's trying to teach him, don't put new wine in old wineskins. There's something new coming, and look at the contrast between the two. So, cool study.